It is Tuesday. It's a very exciting day for me because we have men's group, and we are going to continue on with Inchstones. And if you haven't checked out the last 3 episodes, it's been unbelievable for me going through this because, well, the first one was how to be able to build a good name in episode 463. 464 was all about building any business, and 465 was about how to create leadership. And so think about that. Build a good name, build a business, build your leadership. And today is all about preparing for the blessing that is ultimately coming. But most of the time, our blessing is a little bit delayed. And this is what my brother taught me. Most of the time, it's a little bit delayed, not because God doesn't want you to succeed or that the world is against you or that things are conspiring. It's just we are not prepared for the blessing. So today is all about getting ready for the blessing and getting prepared to not only accept it, but to invite it in the future and to be able to sustain it. I find that there's so many people that want certain things or desire certain things, but they're not prepared for it, so they don't see the blessing actually happening. We're going through Proverbs 25, the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day, because we're going to wisdom, not to knowledge. We're going to wisdom. 3,000-year-old wisdom that's applicable today. Let's get this party started.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
Your blessing is coming. Your blessing is coming. Your blessing is coming. And if that be through business that you're seeking it right now, or it be through your relationship or whatever it is, I want to tell you and I want to confirm to you that your blessing is coming. It's not your job to figure out which blessing. It's not our job to make the blessing happen. Our only job is just to get prepared for when that blessing is ultimately coming. See, it's his will, his plan, and his timing. This is where I get frustrated a ton because I want my timing. I want it to happen when I want it to happen. And yesterday I had an experience that I have my remarkable tablet that I generally use, and I use handwritten notes. It's amazing. It's a digital paper. And it got cracked about 1.5 years ago. Well, I've delayed on getting it fixed. And then when I found out that I could get it fixed, I had to send it off, but I have to send it off and it has to get all the way to the company, and then they have to send it all the way back, but they won't send it out until they've actually received it. So as I went to DHL yesterday and I went to put it in the package, I was nervous. I was like, man, this isn't the same thing that I've been able to do every morning. I won't have my remarkable with me. What am I going to do? But it's amazing because a lot of times, well, when I say a lot of times, every time, in every circumstance, God is using it to be able to prepare you for a blessing. But a lot of times it comes through uncomfortable circumstances. And so as silly as that seems, I was uncomfortable because I didn't have my remarkable tablet because I use it every single day. But what was great is I had my remarkable app. And on my remarkable app, I got to sit down today, and as opposed to writing it, handwriting it, I got to push the talk to text, and I learned something new. And what it was showing me was there's always a different method. There's always something that he's going to bless me with. I learned something new today, which is unbelievable. But also, I had got into such a routine that I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do if that little routine is not there? And sometimes we get lost. And he told me this morning, he was like, you're not lost. Don't get focused on the routines, the rituals, the religions. Stay focused on me, and I will provide every single time. But I need you to get prepared right now. And my brother told me this probably maybe almost 1 year ago. I was talking to him and I was asking him about a couple scenarios in my life. And he said, are you doing exactly what you love? I said, yeah. He said, if you were making millions of dollars right now, would you be good? And I would be like, yeah, because I was doing exactly what I loved, and that would be the reward of it. And he said, so what's your problem? And I stopped. And I had to be silent for a second, and I had to listen, and I had to realize. And he said, Kelly, you're getting prepared. God's getting you prepared. You're not ready for the blessing that you're asking for. You're not ready for the blessing that you desire. It's not that it's not coming. It's just you're not ready right now, and he's getting you ready. So that's what today is all about. If you didn't get a chance to go back and listen to the last 3 episodes, we talked about we went through these last 3 or 4 days have just been about business, right? And how wisdom can apply to business. The first one was how to get a good name. If you haven't listened to episode 460, though, you need to go back and listen to that one. That's Rick Burkholder, the Vice President of Sports Medicine and Performance for the Kansas City Chiefs. Guy is absolutely amazing. Now, people have been asking me about my hat, too, and saying, are you a Kansas City fan? No, I'm not. It's Kelly Cardenas or the Kansas City Monarchs. So it's an ode to the Sandlot. And so I love that movie. My kids love the movie. And if you watch it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But go back and listen to that episode. It's amazing. And then the last 3 episodes have been about a good name, establishing a good name. That's number 1 in business. Number 2, how to build any business. And then number 3, the last episode, which was 465, was all about leadership. And it's amazing how 3,000-year-old wisdom can translate into leadership, like today's leadership. So today's corresponding proverb for the corresponding day, which is Proverbs 25, because it's June 25th, it's all about preparing for the blessing. So let's jump right in. And I've got my notes here on my phone, not on my remarkable tablet, because it's on its way back to the company. But I had to chill and realize that it's not the routines, it's not the rituals, it's not the religion. It's my relationship with him that brings the blessing. It's not through all of those things. And so the first one is trust God's plan, and that's in verse 1 through 3. And this is probably one of the hardest things to do, to realize that it's his will, that it's his plan, and it's his timing. His will, his plan, his timing. It's probably one of the hardest ones. A second one here was in verse 4 and 5. That's the purification process. And I don't know if any of you guys have been through circumstances that get a little heated, or that you go through a purification. I do constantly, and I don't like it. I don't like the timing. I don't like how uncomfortable it feels, but I tell you, it is one of the things that on the outset of it, like when I look on the result of it, I think, oh man, those were such cool times. I think about a 1-bedroom apartment with 5 people when we lived in it in Lompoc, California. And I think about all the baseball games that myself and Will and my brother Rob played with a sock sewn up as a baseball. And we would reminisce on those times. Although when we were in those times, we were like, I don't know if this is the greatest thing in the world. But it's the purification. It's those things. So allow intense heat to come into your life and be okay with it, because those circumstances are always going to take out the impurities. It's not going to be comfortable, but I tell you, it'll be better on the outset. In verses 6 and 7, it talks about staying humble and let someone else sing your praises. This is one of the greatest things that you could ever do, especially on social media. When you're building a company, anything like that, just talk about what everyone else does and talk about what they do great. It will shock people. It'll freak them out. And when you pound your chest, no one wants to be with you. When you are constantly celebrating other people, they want to be around you. Think about this. I love when my friends win. Why is it so important to promote other people when sometimes they do exactly what you do? Because there's enough. Let somebody else sing your praise is probably one of the most valuable things that you could do. In verse 8 through 10, is comparison, and then mind your business. So don't fall victim to comparison, which we all do. If you have social media, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, this person got this and that and all the rest of the stuff. Stop the comparison and think about this. Like, mind your business. Like, think about the thing that you were built for, your purpose, and just be excited about that. Every one of you is built beautiful. You're perfectly, wonderfully made in the image of God. Anything contrary to that is a lie. So from this day forward, only except truth. In verse 11 and 12, it talks about no limits, like taking off the limits of these blessings. Like, don't limit God. Don't say, like, my pops would say to me, how big is God? And I was like, I don't know. And he said, well, he's as big as you'll get out of the way and allow him to be. He wants to bless us. He gives you the desires of your heart. There's a difference between a want and a desire. A desire is in line with who God is and who he designed you to be, and a want is comparison. I want that because somebody else has it. So make sure that you look at it, but don't put limits on it. I mean, expand your brain. In verse 13 through 15 and 23 through 25, it's about speaking life and the power of the tongue. When you speak life to people, that's what we're about to do in our men's group downstairs here in a couple of minutes, and it's going to be amazing. We speak life. We use their name, something specific that absolutely inspired you, and realize the power of your tongue. Today, my challenge to you, this is the only challenge I have, is call someone, text someone, email someone, and just tell them how amazing they are, but be very specific, because if you're not specific, it doesn't mean anything at all. Work your land is in 16 and 17. This is a common thread in Proverbs. Love your life. Work your land, love your life. Work your land, love your life. Wherever you're at right now is exactly where you need to be. You don't need to be someplace else. God's big enough to be able to have you there if he needed you there. So fall in love with exactly what is going on today. And I tell you, when your attitude is on fire, even Rick Burkholder, the vice president of sports marketing or sports performance or sports medicine and performance, told me that with a good attitude, your body heals faster. So think about this. Work your land, love your life. In verse 18 and 19, tell the truth and be faithful at all times. Just tell the truth. It's a pretty simple thing that we learned when we were in kindergarten, although most of the things that will help us to be able to be successful in our life, we learned in kindergarten. Go back to those basics, those simple principles. Tell the truth and be faithful. In verse 20, timing and read the room. Understand timing. Understand when it's time to jump up and down with someone. Understand when it's time to just sit and listen. But timing is everything, and learn to read the room. Learn to read people. We're in the people business. You take the people out of the business, you got no business at all. You build the people, the people build the business. Everything works out. In verse 21 and 22, let God take care of it as opposed to revenge. Let God take care of it as opposed to revenge. This is probably one of the hardest things for me, because when someone does, I want to stick it to, I want to show them. And then God is like, let me do it. Let me do it. If not, you're going to pay the price. In verse 26, it's just continue to do the right thing, and then it's just always. Continue to do the right thing always. It's never a wrong time to do the right thing. In verse 27, more is not always better. And think about this. I would do this as a kid. Whenever I'd get something, I would think, oh, man, I got a baseball hat. I got a baseball jersey. I need to get all the baseball jerseys. I need to get all the hats. More is not always better. I went from one location to 2 to 3 to 15, or to ultimately we had 7. But just because it was more wasn't better. I loved all of them, but more isn't always better. Sit in that for a second. And finally, as we finish up in verse 28, the ultimate self-control comes when we realize who's at the controls. And that's in verse 28. See, God is the author of the desires of our hearts, and he will be the finisher. This will give us a testimony that will direct everyone's eyes towards him as opposed to our methods, ensuring that we stay humble and focused on a right relationship with him. Our job is not to seek out the blessing. It's to prepare ourselves for the blessing that is designed for us. He built you perfect. He loves you, and he wants to bless you far beyond your wildest dreams, although he is patient and is allowing the circumstances to get you ready to not only expect, but invite and sustain his blessing. Your blessing is coming today. It's coming. It's on its way. Some of that blessing is getting you prepared for that blessing. I hope you have a phenomenal day. This has been Inchstones. Check out the Vibe Room. It's July 23rd. It's coming. I got a couple of tickets set aside that I want to give away VIP to someone. It's a live version of the podcast there in Salt Lake City at the Edison House. It's going to be incredible. Sondor Realty Group, Goosehead, Packer Insurance, and Sage Mortgage. advisors. These guys are phenomenal. They're our alliance partners there. And I just hope you have a phenomenal day. The corresponding proverb, corresponding day, 3,000-year-old wisdom. And now I'm off to my men's group. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in